Walker Buehler is back. Will we start him in Week 7? Find out next on Fantasy Baseball Today in 5. Welcome into FBT in 5 on Friday, May 3rd. I am Frank Stampfl, joined by Scott White. Starter sit these two start pitchers for next week. And let's just start things off with Walker Buehler, Scott. His first start back in over 20 months. He is going up against the Marlins and at the Padres next week.
Wouldn't you know, he'd be back for a 2-start week. Really puts the pressure on. I could see doing it in a points league, rolling the dice on him, because obviously the threshold to be met there is a little lower, and you could survive a bad start easier than you could in a categories league where you could wreck your ERA and whip pretty quickly. Buehler's rehab assignment was long. He was rehabbing late last year too and didn't make it all the way back, and his velocity has been down there, and he just hasn't looked right coming back from his second Tommy John. So maybe he'll be fine. I mean, Kyle Bradish velocity was down on his rehab assignment, and he looked great in his return, but I maintain a healthy skepticism of Buehler right now and would rather see him pitch before I started him.
Nathan Eovaldi left Thursday with a groin injury, so we'll play it by ear and see if he's healthy for next week. He's at Oakland. He's also in Coors Field. What do you think about Eovaldi?
I think you start him. There's a chance he only makes one start. It depends how what the Rangers decide to do in a doubleheader on Wednesday, if they bring an extra guy up or just have everybody start their normal turn. But even if Eovaldi makes one start, it would be at Oakland. So it's a good play.
Mitch Keller is home against the Angels and home against the Cubs.
Leave him for points leagues. He's been pretty shaky overall.
All right, Kyle Harrison is in Coors Field at the Rockies and home against the Reds.
Yeah, I'd leave him for points leagues also. The fact that he's at Coors Field isn't reassuring, and he's been kind of shaky overall too.
Let's slide into the two-star pitchers to add and stream for next week. All of these names are rostered in less than 80% of CBS leagues. Who are they?
They are Tristan McKenzie's the best one, which tells you a little about the options we have to work with this week, because Tristan McKenzie doesn't inspire a lot of confidence. But his last two starts have been better, and he's thrown a lot more strikes in them, which helps. And his matchups are against the Tigers and the White Sox. So about the best you can do as far as two-start sleepers go. Tyler Anderson has been pitching well overall, but I don't have a lot of confidence in him. At Pittsburgh versus Kansas City, I think those matchups are good enough, at least for points leagues. If you're looking to maximize the number of starts you get, Luis Gil against the Astros and Rays, not the best matchups, though those offenses haven't fared as well as we would expect so far. Gil is a good source of strikeouts, if nothing else. Colin Ray has pitched well, again, in a way that I have a hard time buying. I believe his expected ERA is over 6. One of his ERA estimators is anyway. But he's at Kansas City, and he's versus the Cardinals. Pretty good matchups there. Logan Allen of the Guardians, pretty shaky so far, but he has those same matchups as McKenzie, Tigers, and White Sox. So I think in points leagues, you could think about doing it. And Patrick Sandoval gets the Pirates and Royals, coming off his best start of the season. Again, not a lot of confidence in him long term, but those are good matchups if you're just trying to cram in as many two-star pitchers as you can.
And if you miss out on the two-star pitchers, 3 single-start streamers for next week. Spencer Turnbull home against the Blue Jays. John Gray in a revenge game in Coors Field, but that Rockies lineup is barren right now. And Eric Fedde, who's pitched very well, he is home against the Guardians. The best hitter matchups for next week, the Rangers, Royals, Cardinals, Mariners, and Pirates. The worst hitter matchups, Blue Jays, Nationals, Marlins, Cubs, and Braves. Scott, who are your top sleeper hitters for Week 7?
Jorge Soler has become available enough to qualify for this list, which I find kind of surprising. The power has at least been there for him so far. And hopefully he finds more consistency this week. 7-game schedule, 3 at Colorado. You'll want to take advantage of that, I think, with Jorge Soler. Andy Pages and Joe Adell are both under-rostered, I think. neither the Dodgers nor the Angels are among the teams with the 5 best hitter matchups, but they have pretty good matchups, Dodgers especially. Pages, I think, might be must start pretty soon. So now's a good time to go ahead and pounce on him if he's available. Nate Lowe, you mentioned the Rangers have the best matchups. They're the best matchups by far. 7-game week, 4 at Oakland, 4 at Colorado. Unfortunately, the Rangers lineup is pretty stacked, so there aren't a lot of hitters to recommend as pickups for it. Nate Lowe's your best bet there. Leody Taveras is out there in a number of leagues as well, but not as confident in him making an impact for you. Ty France, great underlying numbers, exit velocity readings, etc. after working with Driveline Baseball this offseason. It hasn't shown up in the production yet, but with the Mariners having the 4th best hitter matchups at Minnesota for 4 versus the A's for 3, this could be the week Ty France breaks out. This could also be the week Lars Nootbaar and Nolan Gorman break out for the Cardinals, who have the 3rd best hitter matchups and only 1 left-hander on the schedule. They've been terrible so far, Nootbaar and Gorman, but I do imagine they'll get going at some point. It's a good week to bet on it. With the Rockies at home for a full week, Brenton Doyle, he's been their best hitter there so far. Brenton Doyle, you could give him a look. And a couple of highly, highly available options, almost 90% of CBS Sports leagues. Richie Palacios of the Rays, Tommy Pham of the White Sox. I like the matchups they have in store this week.
All right, for more extensive fantasy baseball coverage, listen to the Fantasy Baseball Today podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the Odyssey app, or anywhere else podcasts are found. Thanks for listening to Fantasy Baseball Today in 5, and we'll be back again tomorrow. Bye-bye!